Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Indie Zone podcast. My name is Kathy. As we had notified you in a prior presentation, it's presentation number 1 of the matter styled as Conclaves et al. Versus Washington State University, that the 4 families of Kaylee, of Madison, of Xana, and Ethan were the named plaintiffs in a lawsuit raising various claims, including for negligence on the part of Washington State University associated with the catastrophic events of 1122 King Road that happened on November 13th, 2022. The complaint alleges and recognize that these are allegations made by the plaintiff. They are not proven facts. That will be, in fact, their burden of proof during the litigation process. It asserts such matters as that the proceeding arises out of the unalivings of the 4 University of Idaho students by what the plaintiffs are framing the situation as, quote, by a Washington State University employee with a known history. That Washington State University, for instance, brought Mr. Kohberger to Pullman, Washington, to serve as a teaching assistant in the Criminal Justice Criminology Department, while he also worked to obtain his PhD there, and that Mr. Kohberger was heavily reliant on WSU, who paid him a salary, provided free on-campus housing, medical benefits, free tuition, all conditioned on his behavior and subject to being revoked. The complaint then goes on to assert that WSU provided these things to Mr. Kohberger, and that WSU, according to plaintiffs, were negligent, that they had a duty concerning Mr. Kohberger, that they breached that duty, that it was foreseeable relative to that duty, and that the 4 plaintiffs here did suffer those damages, but for WSU to have behaved in a different way, they are actually coming out and saying not only was it foreseeable, the events that happened on November 13th, but in fact it was predictable. It's a quote from page 3 of the complaint. Mr. Kohberger is named throughout this lawsuit multiple times, although the lawsuit is not against him. And we are throwing out a rhetorical question, a comment, an opinion, whether the Washington State University, if and when they file an answer and affirmative defenses to this complaint, might they bring Mr. Kohberger in as a defendant? And we say if, when they file a responsive pleading, because they might file a responsive motion seeking to dismiss this lawsuit. We're not going to know how WSU responds, obviously, until they so respond. But stating hypothetically, let's say that it is an answer, affirmative defenses, might Mr. Kohberger be named here? Or might he not as a third-party defendant? One thing seems possible, in our opinion, that he will be subject to a deposition at some point. The plaintiffs bear the obligation at a preponderance of the evidentiary standard to prove all of their claims. And might Mr. Kohberger be brought in to be deposed by the family's lawyers? These are, of course, rhetorical questions, thoughts, opinions that we are raising at this very early stage in the litigation process. We're going to continue to monitor the situation as further developments arise. And until next time, this is Kathy. Thank you very much for joining us here today.